All right. Thought it'd be funny if like I totally changed clothes in between this, but I'll keep the the illusion that this is an actual class and we're lecturing and everything. It is an actual class, and again, you guys are doing fantastic work on the Moodle page, and you know I love being in front of people. I being in front of a classroom. I love teaching. I love answering your questions face to face. I love talking to you. I love getting papers from you, physical papers, and when necessary, when you share certain things with me, sometimes it does. I love putting my hand on your shoulder and saying it's going to be okay, and hopefully none of that has to end. I like being in front of you guys, but at the same time, from now on, I'm going to totally utilize Moodle far more. I've been too. I don't know. I don't know what my problem has been with it, but it's a good way for a lot of you to discuss things. Because I know I talk too much in class, but I think we might get a visitor. There we go. I talk too much in class, but at the same time, not everybody. All right, Penny.
Hello.
Not everybody is comfortable talking in class. I know I wasn't for a long time, and I want to hear from everybody. And this has just been a really sort of democratic way of doing that, which is nice. And maybe, at the very least, knowing just what you know and how well it's gone with your forum posts and your interactions with each other, maybe you'll speak up a little bit more in class. I certainly hope you do if you have any more of my classes. So anyway, let's get on with the rest of the story. So you've gone outside the marriage. I trust that you. It's trust that you kill. I get down on my knees and start to beg, and then he makes an admission to us. One thing Carver characters are, even if they can't quite articulate their problems, which to me is fantastic, and it's maybe a better example of how things work than some of the other stuff we've read. They're usually honest to us, and they're fairly blunt. Hey babe, I just talked about you on the lecture. This character in the story, he won't admit what he did wrong, and instead of like talking when he's arguing with his wife, instead of like saying anything useful, he just repeats her name a lot. Like, yeah, I just gotta look. So anyway, he just says her name like maybe half the conversation of the story is him going, Holly. So that was my wife groaning in the background. Anyway, but then he admits to it. But I am thinking of Juanita, and that's the maid. This is awful. He admits to us that, like, so even like the wife had said even a while ago when we were doing it, you're thinking of her. He admits to us that he was. This is awful. I don't know what is going to happen to me or to anyone else in the world. And very briefly there, that's Carver giving us sort of bigger scope and about how these stories really connect to the experience. Maybe. Okay. All right. Honey, I go, Holly, I love you. In a lot, someone leans on a horn, stops, and leans again. So we've had phone calls sort of serving as this tension in the background. We've had people knocking on the doors. Now we have a car horn blowing. So again, this is all a story that's confined. The action's all confined to a room, and yet there's all this tension created by Carver. These small details. She wipes her eyes. Fix me a drink. This one's too watery. Let them blow their stinking horns. I don't care. I'm moving to Nevada. Don't move to Nevada. You're crazy. I'm not talking crazy. Nothing's crazy about Nevada. You can stay here with your cleaning woman. I'm moving to Nevada. Either there or kill myself. Holly, I go. Holly, nothing, she goes. She sits on the sofa and draws her knees up to her chin. Another sort of physical Carver detail. Now, I know I probably say this a lot, but this is in fact my favorite Carver line. And it's because Carver rarely uses proper nouns, so you never get like product placement or things like that. But here he does. He actually uses the name of another motel chain at this time. I don't know if Travelodge still exists, but they must have been really pleased with their presence in this story. Fix me another pop, you son of a bitch, she goes. She goes, fuck those horn blowers. Let them do their dirt in Travelodge. Is that where your cleaning woman cleans now? Fix me another, you son of a bitch. She sets her lips and gives me this look. Then we go back again, and it really gives him a chance to reflect on the drinking part of it. Drinking's funny. This could have been done poorly, but it works because he's sort of using it to show specific backstory. Drinking's funny. When we look back on all of our important decisions have been figured out while we were drinking. Even when we talked about quitting drinking, we were sitting around the kitchen table or at a picnic table with a 6-pack or a whiskey. When we made up our minds to move down here, we were drinking. They looked at the pros and the cons. Now they're still drinking. The teachers. Holly says, "Did you do it to her in this bed? I didn't have anything to say. I feel all out of words inside." You can find in maybe every story we've read some line like this, either directly from the character or implied in that third person to be what the character's thinking of just the inadequacy of language. I guess it's sort of it's not a upbeat way of structuring the class. We opened with Tim O'Brien, and that really showed us the power of storytelling. And with Carver, I guess we find the limits, and doesn't mean it's either or. It's certainly both and. But in this case, he doesn't know what words to put to it. Dwayne, she goes, "Holly, my heart is slow to wait." Sorry, I'm looking at this transition. "Holly was my own true love." And then we get a white space, and we go from "Holly was my one true love" to this thing with Juanita was 5 days a week between the hours of 10 and 11. It was whatever room she was in, making her cleaning rounds. Usually it was in room 11. "Hey, I'm doing my lecture. I'll be out in a little bit, okay?" Okay. Kids are wanting to get hosed down. Tracy?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still in here?
Yeah,
Oh. We were sweet with each other, but swift. It was fine. That's almost as romantic as Frank's swell from Revolutionary Road. I think Holly could have maybe weathered it out. I think the thing she had to do was give it a try. Me, I held on to the night job. A monkey could do that work, but things here were going downhill fast. We just didn't have the heart for it anymore. This lets the setting speak to the character. We see the pool fills up with, he stops cleaning it, so it's full of the green gunk. Didn't fix any more faucets, lay any more tile, do any touch-up paintings. The truth is we were both hitting the booze pretty hard. Booze takes a lot of time and effort if you're going to do a good job with it. It's a great bumper sticker. Holly wasn't doing things right either, registering the guests. They were losing money. They got complaints. There was a registered letter came. So they're going to be out of work at this motel very soon. Telephone call. Somebody's coming in from the city. Then that Saturday, we woke up after a night of rehashing the situation. We got up and dressed, and we decided to have this talk. So this brings us back to where they were at the beginning of the story. That's when I got the teachers. We locked up, came upstairs here with ice, glasses, bottles. First of all, we watched the color TV and frolicked some and let the phone ring away downstairs for food. We went out and got cheese crisps from the machine. There was this funny thing of anything could happen now that we realized everything had. Now what Carver does there is he takes a line and a feeling that's been expressed a number of ways over the years, and he puts it into the language of these characters. There was a funny thing of anything could happen now that we realized everything had. I'm gonna let my wife come into this conversation again. Tracy, what's your favorite song that Janis Joplin sings? You do it at karaoke sometimes. Me and Bobby McGee. It was written by a songwriter named Chris Christopherson. Now, some of you may know this song, but there's the famous line in it that freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose, which sort of gets belted out in a way that it seems anthemic, that pump your fist, but it's a fairly dark line. It means you don't really have anything else to lose, which means you're sort of at the end of things. And like I said, these are stories sort of set in the aftermath, and we get that out of this character. The line was repurposed. I don't know if you guys knew the song Me and Bobby McGee, but maybe you know the movie Fight Club. It's based on a book, and there was a line repurposed the same way in that movie. It was it's only after you've lost everything that you're free to do anything. I don't know. Some of those really cool lines I thought were so cool when I was younger. I mean, I have sort of a different perspective on now. Anyway, she starts talking about the past again. We were just kids before we were married. We had big plans and hopes, and she's talking about these dreams versus the reality. You weren't my first, My first was Wyatt. Imagine Wyatt. Your name's Dwayne. Dwayne and Wyatt. You're my everything, just like the song. I go, you're a wonderful woman, Holly. I know you've had opportunities, but I didn't take them up on it, she goes. I couldn't go outside the marriage. Holly, please. I go, no more now, honey. Let's not torture ourselves. What is it we should do? Listen, she goes. Now there's another picture in the pictures I shared of the actual gazebo that inspired this. And she gives this memory of this time. They were driving around, and there was this old couple. They were on a dirt road. It was hot and dusty. And they just went up to an old house and asked for a drink of water. And she says, can you imagine us doing that now? Going up to a house and asking for a drink of water? This is really subtle, but it's a way of saying how something so simple and pure in the past now seems like it's forever away. Those old people must be dead now, side by side out there in some cemetery. Remember they asked us in for cake? They showed us around this gazebo out in the back under some trees that had a pink roof. Woman said that years before, a real long time ago, men used to come around, play music on Sunday, people would sit and listen. And I thought we'd be like that too when we got old enough, dignified, and people would come to our door. She imagined them being like the old couple, and of course they're not. Now he tries to say, oh, we'll have things we remember. We'll say like, remember the shitty pool? And of course that's not gonna happen. I go, you see what I'm saying, Holly? But she sits there on the bed with her glass. I can see she doesn't know. I move to the window, look out from behind the curtain. Someone says something below and rattles the door to the office. I stay there. I pray for a sign from Holly. I pray for Holly to show me. I hear her car start, then another. Then they turn on their lights against the building. One after the other, they pull away and go into the traffic. Dwayne, Holly goes, in this too, she was right. Now that's where the story ends. And that line, in this too, she was right. This is where normally in a class I would ask y'all, what do you think that means? And I'm not going to talk about it. I'll talk about it once you guys have discussed it a little bit on the forum, because I do want to leave some of that to you, to what do you think it means? So that's certainly something I want you to answer on the forum discussion. Just understand that a number of times in this story, Dwayne especially, but Holly too, answers questions or ignores lines from earlier, and we don't really get answers to questions until 2 or 3 lines later. So keep that in mind, but I'm just curious to see what some of your thoughts are on that. So that's Gazebo. We'll look at a serious talk next, probably a little bit later today. I'm trying to get as many of these posted as possible because I have to travel the middle of this week. So serious talk is what I jokingly referred to as Carver's Christmas story. But it's not really a Christmas story. It's an after Christmas story. But a serious talk will be next. And somewhere you should be able to find I'll try to look it up. There's a recording of Carver reading a serious talk. It's very good to hear his voice. The first time I heard it, I wasn't what I expected, but it really fits the story and kind of lets you know how to read certain things. Also, kind of gives you an insight to maybe his darker sense of humor. Nonetheless, that's Gazebo. Now I'm gonna go spray down these kids with some water.